Hi everyone, thanks for coming to my channel. Today we're going to take a look at a website that I found on Flippa that's currently listed for $100,000, but I'm pretty sure it's a giant scam, and I'm going to show you why. Despite it being a scam, I think this case study will show you the value of using expired domains to supercharge your performance, especially early on. Let's take a look. So today I wanted to take a look at this Flippa listing that I came across. I'm doing some research for a site that I've been wanting to buy a new domain, and I have a alert set up where I can see any new listing that is for a site that's at least 6 months of age, because I do want an age domain to skip the sandbox, and just to take a look at everything that's available. So as I was doing that, I did come across this listing, which obviously would be outside of my budget, but it seemed interesting to me, so I wanted to take a look why this particular domain, romanceuniversity.org, was being so successful. So when I got to it, I was somewhat surprised to see the trajectory of this site. That was, to me, a point of interest, and in many cases, I would view this as something to analyze further. It looks like a clean trajectory, but considering you're looking at in the thousands, and for it to boost all the way up to 26,000, they're going to try to sell it at its peak. That, to me, if this was a sustainable website, why would they be looking to offload it right as it's really starting to take off? So that was the first thing that made me question this a little bit and want to dig in deeper. So as I was looking through just the listing itself, the first thing I looked for to see if is this a scam is the breakdown of the channels. And typically, if you see organic search as the top traffic source, and with this kind of page views, this is a legitimate site, right? This is legitimate organic search traffic. 91% of the total is that. Now, if it was direct traffic, like number one, that's a big giveaway to me that there's something up with this. But you're not going to really be able to fake almost 2 million page views in organic search traffic. So this is legitimate organic search traffic. That I can tell just by looking at this area here. The next thing I'll look at is, where is this traffic coming from? US, Canada, UK, Australia. This is all really high value traffic. So this isn't one of those kind of like pump and dump kind of things. It doesn't look like at first glance, but let's take a look further and see what's going on here. And then lastly, in terms of the listing itself, the financials of it. Obviously, a lot of this is provided by the seller, so we'd have to verify that and vet that. But they do provide their income screenshots here of Amazon, so you can take a look. These, I guess, could be somewhat altered with Photoshop and whatnot, but just at a glance, it does look like it's legitimate income. I'm familiar with Amazon Associates backend. I can usually tell if something's been manipulated with Photoshop. You can see some fragments and so forth of what they're doing. They do have a tracking ID. It's another thing I look for in terms of this kind of proof, is that they're not using a generic tracking ID. They're one using specific to this domain. So it's not covering like other sites that they might have within their associates account. So this all looks legitimate at first glance. And you can see here, the site established April 2020. That is a huge turnaround in just a year to go from 0 to looking at 26,000 a month in profit. So right away, this seemed a little bit off to me. And I did request to get analytics access. They responded that they wanted some more information from me. Knowing what I know now after doing some research, I'm not going to go ahead and provide any more information. I'm content knowing that I think a lot of this is accurate, and I'll show you why I believe that it is accurate. But I'll also show you why I think this is a major scam, and somebody's going to be losing a lot of money if they end up buying it for anywhere near this price. So let's hop over to Ahrefs, which is my go-to resource for doing SEO research. So right away, you'll see DR and UR. DR is domain rating. This is a metric that Ahrefs uses to try to quantify and measure how the backlink profile for the site is. Typically, if you're getting anything above the 40, that's a pretty solid backlink profile. You wouldn't expect to see a lot of spam links in there, but it normally takes a long time to get to that DR. So you're not going to get to a 41 very easily in a year span. So it's very unlikely that this was all done this year. So to me, that right away brought to mind that this is likely an expired domain and that they built an affiliate site on top of it. So you can also see the trajectory here, and this confirms what they have within the Flippa listing. You see that huge hockey puck spike going from starting around October all the way into April. Like, that is a massive growth in such a short time that you don't typically see on well built and legitimate websites. So again, I mean, that really piqued my interest and I wanted to dive in further. So next thing I did was look at the website itself. romanceuniversity.org doesn't seem like it would be a domain where you'd want to house a general product review site, but that's exactly what they did. So right away I knew this was an expired domain. There's no way that they're going to have, and let me show you here in the referring domain section of Ahrefs. Look at the domains that they have in here. They have very high quality do follow domains, from New York Times, Goodreads, Stack Exchange, Teachable, Product Hunt, Copy Blogger, Overdrive. These are huge authoritative websites with high domain rating. You got do follow links coming from them. So of course, to me, this looks like it's an expired domain. And in fact, if you open these up and look at it, you can see, in this case, it's actually redirecting another expired domain to this expired domain. And you can see what these kinds of articles are about. They're not about general product reviews. They really have nothing to do with anything like this. These are about books. You can see here in Goodreads, some of the, there's author links going to Demystifying the Outline of the Cat Cantrell. So these are articles related to romance writing from the appearance of it. And in fact, when you put the website into the Wayback Machine, you get to see that it was exactly that. It is a website about writing romance novels and stories. So clearly, this has nothing at all to do with what it became. It really, it's surprising given all of Google's efforts to, stop this sort of site from ranking, that it is just on the basis of the power of the domain profile, the link profile of this expired domain, that it's ranking content that is really, really subpar. And I'll give you a look at what the content looks like right now. Look at the kind of stuff that they're ranking for. Really doesn't even quite make sense. Things that are just random. There's really no order to it. There's no good information hierarchy here. It just looks like a bunch of random products just put onto the site, scraped onto the site. And I'll give you a look at what it looks like. So let's take a look at the Zoomer Puppy Sport, whatever that is. Let's click into it. The best Zoomer Puppy Sport of 2021, reviewed and top rated. So they have all the standard optimization that you'd want on page. But if you take a look at it, all it is really a scraped list of using AWP plugin to put these products in here at the very top. So you don't even really have real content at the top of these pages. And then if you go down past the list, you see this here. How do you buy the best Zoomer puppy sport. So this is kind of what you'd have with a buyer's guide kind of content on an affiliate page. This is somewhat typical, but what I found interesting here is they don't really describe anything here. They're just asking questions. Do you get stressed out thinking about shopping for a great Zoomer puppy sport? I don't think I would, because it's a toy dog, so why would I be stressed about that? And why would I even need a list to determine what that is? However, as you go further down here, it's just another list of questions. Is it worth buying a Zoomer puppy sport? And you can see that the keyword here is put in multiple times, we have some that are italicized, some that are bolded, there's really none of this is valuable to the user. Like it's just showing you how you would evaluate something without actually doing the evaluation for this particular thing. It's saying the technology we use to assemble our list depends on a variety of factors, including but not limited to the following: brand value. Every brand of Zoomer Puppy Sport has a value of its own. Most brands offer some sort of unique selling proposition that's supposed to bring something different to the table than their competitors. And features, it doesn't even list the features. What bells and whistles matter for a Zoomer Puppy Sport? I don't know. Shouldn't this article tell me? But it doesn't. Specifications, how powerful can they be measured? This makes no sense. This is absolute garbage content. How on earth is this ranking? This does not make sense. And then interlinking is honestly non-existent either, except for the previous and next and contact. And it's not like they have this huge silo structure where they're passing contextually relevant links internally to other products on the page. This is pure spam content. And what I found even more amazing is, look at this content here, right? Now remember what this looks like. Let's go to any of these products on the side. Let's pick, let's see something. Oh, the Philadelphia Skyline. I want to buy the Philadelphia Skyline today. Let's see. So you can see here, now, the best Philadelphia Skyline in 2021. What? Why on earth is this even a page? This makes no sense. No one is looking to buy this. Yet we have an article about that. And what you find is Amazon pictures of the Philadelphia Skyline, other items, books, those sorts of things, all mixed in here. And what do you see here? It's the exact same content. Do you get stressed out thinking about shopping for a great Philadelphia Skyline? Nope, because I wouldn't buy the Skyline. But here we go. It's the same exact content. The only difference is that they swapped out the keyword. That's it. Nothing else. It's all duplicate content, which from an SEO perspective, you were trained from a long time ago that duplicate content is an absolute killer for your site, that Google would never rank duplicate content because it can't determine which one is the source and the verifiable source of that query that they want to rank for. So there are so many bad SEO errors here that you would be amazed that this would even rank at all, because you have a site with thousands of pages of content that are duplicate content with thin, just scraped product links at the top, and really not much else. Everything else is basically the same thing. There's nothing else on the site except for wild duplicate content, scraped content. And yet, as you can see here, and I have really no doubt that they are actually making what they are saying here, you can see the amount of traffic that this is generating, mostly from organic, actually almost entirely from organic, and the high profit that they're getting from this, $26,000 in profit, which is amazing. I mean, that would take years and years of really grinding to get your site to making that kind of profit on a monthly basis. And in this case, for this site, it looks like they did it just by scraping together a bunch of bad content. And the reason why this might rank, I think almost entirely it's because of the power of the expired domain. I can't see any other reason why Google would rank this type of content. But the other part of that is that they're targeting very low value and low search volume keywords. So if we take a look here at top pages, for example, in the Ahrefs report, you can see what they're ranking for and what's generating the most traffic. Some of this, and a lot of it actually, is really pornographic in nature. So this isn't even content that really would have any affiliate. This doesn't really make sense to target affiliate, but then of the things that are affiliate, for example, best zipper compression socks, take a look at it. Let's look at this particular key phrase in general. So this is right now kind of the third highest traffic generator for the site, according to Ahrefs. Now let's take a look at this particular keyword. So actually, this is surprising. The difficulty is a little bit higher than I would imagine, 22. So that's not terrible. But you can see the reason why that I think is high is taken into account, Amazon listings themselves showing up there. So the DR for Amazon is one of the largest in the on the internet. So you kind of have to take those out to consider what's ranking here. So really what you're looking at, you already see some DR7 sites showing up on here. That to me typically indicates that it's a weaker keyword and that you can rank for it easier than others. And a lot of people aren't really necessarily targeting it. So that's 7 and 11 within here. And then you see like an old one that's from 2019 that hasn't even been updated. So there's a lot of room in this particular keyword search to get some traction here. Now, why it's the number one result out of everything here, that to me is really surprising, especially considering you have a DR74 site, which I would assume is not completely scraped spam content, ranking at the top. And you can see here, this is not the greatest content in the world, but it's certainly better than what was on the other one. So, I'm not quite certain why that ranks it, but I think you can start to see that the value of an expired domain. This was a case study to me that was really, in a way, shocking. Like I knew there was potential for expired domains, but to see a site get this much organic traffic, let's go back to the overview. It ranks for nearly 1.4 million organic keywords and has an estimated search traffic of 286,000, and usually this is off on the lower side. So I'd expect the actual legitimate traffic for this is probably at least double this. So you're looking at like a massive amount of organic traffic to a site that is just pure spam, and I can't credit that to anything other than the power of the domain. And the thing that was surprising to me, typically when I'm looking at expired domains, I'm looking for also relevance. Obviously you want a higher DR, but you want a topical relevance to the kind of content, the kind of site that you will be building. And in this case, there is no topical relevance because romance novels, it doesn't really rank. It's not trying to target much of that. It's looking purely at just general product reviews, just random things. And the only thing I can think of is what happened here. They must have a list, maybe from Ahrefs or whatever. They exported out a bunch of kind of low competition, medium to small search volume keywords, scraped all that content, and then used some kind of scraper engine, I don't even know what, some kind of technology to auto-create all of these pages. So they would populate all these AAWP boxes with anything related to that keyword, and then swap out all of these keywords in here as well. So it seems to be completely automated. They're just scraping keyword lists and then dumping them back in here and creating content out of the stuff that doesn't even make sense. There is no good information hierarchy. There's no good interlinking. There's no real link building strategy here. It's just the strength of the domain, in my opinion. This is really one of the most surprising things I've seen coming up on Flippa, and whoever is going to buy that for this amount of money is in for a world of hurt, I believe. As this Google product review update continues to get better. It's actually surprising me that this looks like it wasn't even impacted by that yet. So I'd anticipate that eventually Google gets around to looking at this one, but right now it's escaping detection somehow from the algorithm updates, and it's still ranking quite well for, obviously not great keywords, but in total, when you have so many of them, it all adds up to a huge amount of traffic and a pretty good monthly revenue here. So I'd be wary of this one for sure. Anyone who decides to buy this without doing the due diligence and thinking this is a ticket to, $30,000 a month for several years, they're in for a rude awakening, I believe, that this site eventually will get hammered and hammered really, really badly. So thanks for taking the time to look through this potential Flippa scam with me. What do you all think? Let me know in the comments, and if you give me a like, that would be great too. Thank you. Till next time.